Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Monday, December 13th, 2021, 10 a.m. Central, or just after, in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Welcome. Welcome, George. Good to see you, buddy. Happy holidays to you. It is a nice day. It's going to be a pretty nice week weather-wise in this area. We're getting up to 60 in couple of days. Wednesday is supposed to top 60. So we'll see about that. That's the rumor. The show today is part 6 of a look at the Artifacts and Relics section of the first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Masters Guide. It's a big section, so we've definitely been checking it out piece by piece over the last 5 weeks, and now this one. We'll see how far we get today, and then next week we might finish up the year with a show on something else that I was looking at, but we may have to visit this one last time as well. So we will see. But don't forget, next week, last show of the year, and then we take our winter hiatus, and we will be back on, I want to say, the 17th of January. So we'll have 3 Mondays without a show, the 27th, the 3rd, and 10th of January. There will not be a regular OK Grognard show, which is fine. We did that last year, too. We may make some adjustments to the show format or whatever. We'll see what the hiatus brings as far as ideas and whatnot. Although, it's a casual show. I just do it each Monday. I stream it. I upload it to YouTube when it's done. I don't do any editing. It's not really a time-consuming thing, which makes it an easy thing for me to do. If it were a part-time job, I'm not sure I'd feel as lackadaisical about it, but I'm not sure I'd feel as motivated either to just keep knocking them out, which is fun. I just like talking about original and first edition Dungeons and Dragons and its offshoots and adjacent subjects, So we'll see what happens. But don't forget, next show, last week before the winter hiatus. And, well, let's dig into this. Let's dig into this continuation of a look at the relics, the artifacts and relics. I gotta say, the cup and talisman of Al Akbar. This pair of holy relics were given by the gods of the Paynims to their most exalted high priest of lawful good alignment in the days following the invoked devastation. It was lost to demi-human raiders and was last rumored to be somewhere in the southeast portion of the Bandit Kingdoms. Again, a lot of these locale references are Greyhawk references. That was Gary's setting, and he used it by default whenever there was some flavor text within the rules in first edition. The cup is made of hammered gold, chased with silver filigree, and set with 12 great gems in electrum settings. Don't get me started on electrum. A jewel valued of 75,000 or more gold pieces on the market. A jewelry valued. It does not radiate magic, but it has the following powers and effects, and there are powers, effects that come off of the first list and the third list, which we went over in a previous episode. The talisman is made of hammered platinum. Excuse me. So that was the cup. And he says, now, the talisman is made of hammered platinum, a star of 8 points chased with gold inlays, and with a small gem tipping each point. The star is hung from a chain of gold and electrum set with silver beading, 8 sets of 3 beads each, a jewelry value of 10,000 or more gold pieces. It does not radiate magic either, but it has the following powers and effects. So there you go. Each item has their own stuff going on there, but it also says if a cleric, druid, or paladin or ranger possesses both, he or she may fill the cup with holy water and immerse the talisman into the fluid to create a potion once per week. The potion will be. Now, here's a table. You roll a 20-sided die. It could be that what you're doing is rolling it each time you perform this ritual. Or it could be that you've determined that you roll once when you place this in your setting, and this is what that ritual will do each time. So your call. Lawful good. It was given to a follower of lawful good nature, obviously cleric, druid, paladin, or ranger. My suggestion would be, if it's a paladin who is also lawful good, maybe they have some influence over what it is. Druid, obviously true neutral, not a lawful good character. Cleric could be. Ranger. So in the hierarchy, I would think paladin, cleric, ranger, then druid. If you wanted to put these in some sort of order of power over this item. In any event, you would think that the higher value or better serving potion, or balm, it says, ointment, salve, balm. Why would a neutral druid be able to produce a extra healing and a paladin only a healing, for instance? This runs a little contrary to what I would think would be the intent of the item. In any event, something to think about. And the possessor gains the following powers effects from both. That is to say, if one person holds both the cup and talisman, then they gain some additional higher effects. One of them's a side effect, not a good thing. One of them is a very prime power. So, there you go. Notice the evil characters only is the bad effect up above here that comes from having the talisman. And for neutral or evil characters only, the bad effect that comes with having the cup. So there is some caveat for someone other than a lawful good person using them in some cases. So, wow, we get into the craziness of the eye and then the hand of Vecta. These are some super good ones. George in the chat says, interesting thought on rolling either once or on each use of the cup. Thank you. And he also said you could also rework the dice range for each power as well. Yeah, that's a great thought. If you allowed, say, a plus to the roll, maybe for being closest to the intended alignment, so that it skews to a better, or perhaps maybe just let, if it's a paladin or someone who's actually lawful good, maybe let them choose. Maybe something can do it once a day or something, like the resurrection balm, the raised dead balm can only happen once per week, while the healing might be able to be done twice a day and the extra healing once a day. Something like that puts some limit on the larger abilities, the more major abilities, but you know, makes it a little less chaotic. I mean, why would you think that something created for lawful good by lawful good would not be regimented a little more, be a little more predictable? In any event, Eye and Hand of Vecta. Let's start with the Eye of Vecta. Seldom is the name of Vecta spoken except in hushed voice, he said full-throatedly, and never within hearing of strangers, for legends say that the phantom of this once supreme lich still roams the material plane. It is certain that when Vecta finally met his doom, one eye and one hand survived. The eye of Vecna is said to glow in the same manner as that of a feral creature. It appears to be an agate until it is placed into an empty eye socket of a living character. Once pressed in, it instantly and irrevocably grafts itself to the head. It cannot be removed or harmed without slaying the character. Notice it doesn't say except with a wish or whatever. No, this is irrevocable. The alignment of the character immediately becomes neutral evil and may never change. The eye bestows both infravision and ultravision to its host and gives the following additional powers effects. Then it lines you up with effects from various tables, which can be pretty good ones. The minor or major powers may be used without fear of harm, but use of the primary power causes a malevolent effect upon the host character. Goes on to talk about the Hand of Vecna. The Arch-Lich Vecta was supposedly imbued both his hand, left hand, and his eye, see the foregoing for listing, with wondrous and horrible powers, enabling them to persist long after his other remains moldered away into dust. Tales say that the hand appears to be a mummified extremity, a blackened and shriveled hand, possibly from a burned body. If the wrist portion is pressed against the stump of a forearm, it will instantly graft itself to the limb and become a functioning member with 18/100 strength in its grip. No to hit or damage bonuses, just saying. Strong grip. The hand will eventually turn the alignment of the host to neutral evil, as explained hereafter. Goes on to say the host character may use any minor power without fear, but as soon as a major power of the hand is used, he or she awakes a spirit of great evil. You, it says parenthetically the DM, should then begin an insidious campaign of suggestion and urging towards evil on that character's part. When a primary power is used, the host will instantly become neutral evil, very evil. The hand can be severed from the host at any time before its powers are used with 100% certainty, but each major power subtracts 1% from the probability, and each use of a primary power makes success 10% less likely. Whenever 100% subtraction has occurred, there is no possibility of removing the hand, and the character will know this. To use any power, the fingers of the hand must be extended, curled, or whatever in different combinations. The powers and effects are, and it gives you a slew of them. 10 from the first table, 5 from the second, 3 from the third, or 2 from the third, 2 from the fourth, 2 from the fifth, and then one major drawback. Hey, we got a bunch of people coming in today. How you doing there? Mandalorian Man, Prometheus, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. Oh yeah, you got my Beholder shirt on today. Represent. I'd like to have a Christmas tree with nothing but Beholder ornaments on it. That would be a sort of lovely thing, huh? After the powers listing and whatnot, and the caveat about the hand being tough to get off, it says, remember that nothing short of an intervention from the most powerful of gods can alter the effects of Vecna's hand upon its host. It is urged that even the greatest of deities will be loath to attempt to undertake meddling with any host creature, so allow the effects to be irrevocable. Note, devise the combinations of finger-hand positions you have assigned to each power. Look, there's 15 first, 2 third, and 2 fifth. So come up with 19 different hand combinations. Thumb down, pointing a little finger. Keep keep the chart handy and make the host character use the positions to use the power from the hand. So it's a little role playing helper. Heward's mystical organ. Of course, we've heard of Heward's handy haversack. We played D&D for a while. Then it's kind of like a portable hole, except in backpack form. Somewhat different, but same idea. This is Heward's mystical organ. In the pages of the Fables of Burdock, there is a mention of a musical instrument of a large size, an organ of such power that the mighty and terrible enchantments possible to cast by playing upon it are only hinted at. Heward's organ has 77 great and small pipes, a console with many keys of black and white beneath, 13 ivory stops, and 3 great foot pedals. The bellows, which sends a rush of wind to the pipes, is said to be worked by a conjured and chained air elemental of huge size. Each stop causes the pipes to sound in a different voice, while the keys vary the notes, of course. No one is certain what purpose the foot pedals serve. Despite the it sounds like he ran out of design ideas at that moment, doesn't it? Or is he just leaving it open to the GM? Despite the ravages of time, which have silenced some of its pipes, and abuse and neglect of which have supposedly made some keys and stops unworkable, the organ can still work mighty magics when properly played. So he's saying also there, some of it can be broken. You don't have to have, a myriad of things that would mimic every potential action of a great organ. The would-be conjurer must be most careful, however, when attempting to work this relic artifact, for pulling the wrong stops can cause the summoning of something undesired or the casting of the wrong type of spell. If the wrong keys are depressed or the right ones are not, something called up might be unbound or the magic might backfire. Similarly, the alignment of the caster or manipulator of the organ might be changed by improper playing. After the powers and effects of the organ have been determined by you, decide which stops and what key sequence combinations will do what. If you are conversant with musical notation, you can write tunes if you like and make your players actually perform them on a piano or other instrument. Otherwise, pick some appropriate songs and give clues to the player character. Can hum different ditties, Fly Me to the Moon, That Old Black Magic, The Old Devil Moon, You've Got Me in Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, The Monster Mash. Gary enjoyed a good pun, obviously, picking out moon and monster creature songs. The suggested powers and effects are, well, there's 7-1, 7-2, 3-3, 7-4, so it leans to the bad side. 7-5 and 3 of the most powerful side effects. So, it's going to be nasty for the most part. Plus, it's this huge pipe organ. It's in a one single place. So when you're devising which powers and effects are there, think of it more like the fountain that people go and have a drink from. And they're not taking this magic item with them, most likely. Players will always figure out a way, right? But this is probably a stationary item for the most part. So you may want to have effects that don't require the item to be mobile or to be something you can take around and use in different places. There you go, something to think about. Remember that effects can be negated, reversed, changed, etc. by misplaying the organ. The Horn of Change. This ancient artifact resembles any of the more common magical horns, such as the Horn of Blasting, the Horn of Bubbles, etc. If, let's get up there. If it is winded one time, a power from table 1 or an effect from table 2 will occur. If the horn is twice sounded, a power from table 2 or an effect from table 4 will occur. If 3 blasts are given, a power from table 5 or an effect from table 4 will occur. Oh, that was 6 previously. You must determine the probability of a power or effect. 75-25 is suggested, and then dice for a random result on the appropriate table. Results which are inappropriate should be ignored. So here's an interesting thing. When something is unpredictable or randomly powerful or chaotic, maybe just assign paired powers, major or minor, whatever. So there's a good and a bad, and always have it be one or the other. So if somebody wants to choose to use heal magic or cure light wounds, then maybe if they try the blast and it doesn't work, it causes light wounds. Something equal and opposite is perhaps an idea. Maybe you do want it just chaotic. I don't know. But that's my thinking. It's a way to do that. And then we've got next the Invulnerable Coat of Arn. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty well. 22 minutes in. The High Priest of Arn of Tanan is said to have been the original possessor of this relic. The coat is a bright and shimmering shirt of fine and almost weightless chain links. It covers the upper arms, torso, and groin of any human-shaped wearer from 3 to 8 feet height. It makes the wearer totally invulnerable to physical attacks with respect to covered areas and gives AC 5 protection to all other areas. In addition, the coat adds +5 to saving throws, as if it were a +5 magical armor, protects its wearer from fire, as if it were a ring of fire resistant, and acid, cold, and electrical attacks have no effect upon the wearer. Additionally, the Invulnerable Coat of Arn has the following powers and effects, and it gives a list, and they go all the way to the top, and there's a good amount of them. So it's a pretty powerful item. Looking at the next one, Iron Flask of Turney the Merciless. This artifact is reported to be a small and heavy urn, easily carried in a pack or by hand despite its weight. The flask is stoppered with a turnip-shaped plug, engraved and embossed with sigils, glyphs, and runes of power, so as to contain the spirit therein. Ominous. The spirit therein. The possessor need but know 3 words to have the flask function properly, i.e., the word of opening, the word of command, and the word of closing and sealing. Turney's flask is rumored to imprison one of the following: a greater devil, a groaning spirit, a major demon, a night hag, or a nicodemon. It is generally conceded that the servant of the flask can be loosed only to perform evil deeds, and it must always kill before it can be commanded to return to its prison. In addition to the servant, the flask has the following powers, so it has some innate things that it can do. Jacinth, of inestimable beauty. It is said that the finest corundum gem from the heart of the largest mountain was taken and fashioned by the gods themselves to form the jacinth of inestimable beauty. This huge and priceless fiery orange jewel is indescribably beautiful. and exquisitely cut in dozens of facets, which shoot forth brilliant beams, and all who see it within 20 feet or less must save versus magic or be charmed by it. Legend relates that the Jacinth was possessed by the fabled Sultan Jehev Perine for a time and then passed into the land of Ket and southward into Kioland, world of Greyhawk, where all traces disappeared. When the possessor, well, when the possessor firmly grasps this lustrous orange gem, the following powers and effects are gained. So there you go. Heidi's mask. Joe, his first wife. Heidi, his daughter. The High Priestess Heidi supposedly tricked the powers of evil into making this strange artifact, and then wisely used it to overthrow their hold upon her nation. The mask completely covers the wearer's face and enables him or her to assume the likeness of any human or human-like creature. It also prevents all forms of mind contact, detection, or attack. Heidi's mask is rumored to give the wearer total immunity to all gaze attacks, basilisk, catoplebis, medusa, I guess any gorgons, and the following powers and effects. And it gives some nice little powers there. 2 from the first, 1 from the second, and 1 from the fourth. Kuras Quill. We still got a few pages to go. I'll tell you what, we're right about at that time. I think, well, let's do this last one. There can be but little dispute that the master thief Kuras was the most successful of his profession, and several sages attribute his performance to the acquisition of a writing instrument of unknown antiquity, which now bears Kuras' name. The quill reportedly draws and writes infallibly upon command, depicting whatever its possessor sees or speaks accordingly. It is also supposed to be able to find treasure as a potion of treasure finding. One time per month, these power. Oh, he can do the treasure finding 1 time per month. These powers and effects are attributed to it as well. Then it gives a list of a couple of first table powers, 1/3, 1/4, and then 1 drawback from table 6. All right, maybe we should have held off. But the Mace of Cuthbert will be the first thing we look at next time. I think we're halfway or close to a little more than halfway done. So we will knock these out on the last show of the year and maybe have a chance to look at this one other thing that I wanted to look at, the NBC character sheets. But in any event, it's enough to say that this has been a good day. And we've gotten a lot of artifacts under our belt. And as we said all along, this is a big chunk of the Dungeon Masters guide, so we knew it was going to take a little bit of time to get through all of it, and we wanted to do it sooner or later. Sorry for any mispronunciations that have thrown anybody off. If you pronounce things differently than me, if you know better than me, leave a comment. You can always do that. I'm well able to correct myself in future episodes if necessary, and happy to do so if appropriate. In any event, I want to thank everybody for popping into the chat today. It's good seeing some of you. I haven't seen some of you for a little while, or at least don't get to see you regularly enough. I want to say happy holidays to everybody there. I also want to say happy holidays to everybody who checks out the show on YouTube, and thanks for joining us for part 6 of the Artifacts and Relics section of the first edition Advanced Dungeon and Dragons Dungeon Masters Guide. If you are oop, that's next time. Maybe. I do want to say, winter hours, the winter hiatus will come on the heels of the next show. Last show is Monday, December 20th. That's next week. First show of 2022 will be Monday, January 13th. Thanks again for another great year to everybody who's checking it out. The show streams live on Twitch each Monday at 10 a.m. Central. It's then archived on YouTube. If you're checking out the show on Twitch, please do follow the channel and chime in on the stream chat. If you're catching up with it on YouTube, subscribe. Click the little bell so you are notified of new episodes being uploaded. Feel free to comment on episodes and by all means, give us a thumbs up on any that you like and enjoy and listen to. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.